Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to start unit number 2, starting with communication in networks. So, today's class we are going to discuss two things. One is number one, what are the basics of communication in networks, and we are going to discuss about RPC, remote procedure call. These two things we are going to discuss for today's class. So first, let us start communication in networks. What is communication in networks? Actually, communication is the data communication. Data communication refers to the transmission of the digital data between two or more computers. This we all know. So it refers to the transmission of digital data between two or more computers. A computer network or data network is a telecommunications network that allows computers to exchange data. So when communication is done, it allows the computers to exchange the data. The physical connection between networked computing devices is established using either cable media or wireless media. The physical connection between the network where the computers are connected, that physical connection is established using either wired or wireless. It can be through cable or through wireless media. The best known computer network is the internet. We all know that. So what are the applications of communication and computer network? Resource sharing such as printers and storage devices can be done. So resource sharing such as printers and storage devices can be shared in communication in the network. Exchange of information by means of emails and FTP can be done. So information can be exchanged through email or FTP, file transfer. Information sharing by using web or internet is possible. Interaction with other users using dynamic web pages. So dynamic web pages can be used in some of the websites for interaction with the users. Static web page is a fixed web page where you cannot do anything, just you can see that. Where dynamic web page is nothing but you can interact with the website. If you give a request, the website will respond by giving some web page. After that, again it will give a request, again something will come as a response. Like in banking websites, what we are doing, by giving user ID and password, we are entering into the website. After that, again we are communicating with the website of the bank continuously. So this type of interaction can be done. This is called a dynamic web page. So IP phones is one of the application. Video conferences can be possible. Parallel computing can be possible. Instant messaging, what we are doing in WhatsApp, that is possible. What are the communications channels available? Data transmission circuit, full duplex circuit, half duplex circuit, and multi-drop circuit. In multi-drop we have bus network, mesh network, ring network, star network, and wireless network. And point to point circuit is there, and simplex circuit is there. So these are the channels which are used for communication. Components of data communication. What are the components of data communication? The components are sender, receiver, transmission medium, message, and protocol. Sender is the one who is sending the messages. for making the communication with the receiver. So sender is the one who is sending the messages. Receiver is the one who is receiving the messages. Transmission medium is the bus. It can be a bus, or it can be a Ethernet. It can be a wireless medium for transmitting the data from the sender to the receiver. And message. What is the message to be communicated between sender and receiver? That is called message. And protocol. What is the protocol to be used for communication? We can go for TCP/IP. We can go for UDP. We can go for any other protocol like this. So what is the protocol we are using? That comes into one of the component of data communication. What are the types of network? So this we all know that: local area network, personal area network, metropolitan area network, and wide area network. In wide area network only our internet resides. Features of communication. What are the features of a communication? Delivery, accuracy, timeliness, and jitter. What is delivery? The system must deliver the data to the correct destination. So the destination address will be mentioned there. So the system must deliver the destination correctly. Data must be received by the intended device or user and only by that device. It should not be received by any others. The delivery must be done only to the destination to which it is intended. And coming to accuracy, the system must deliver the data accurately. There is no mismatch of communication. There should not be any mismatch of communication. Whatever the data, whatever the message the system is sending, that should be received in the receiver. Nothing should be missed. The accurate data must be received in the receiver. Then only the accuracy can be achieved. And coming to timeliness, the system must deliver data in a timely manner, and time is also important. So whatever the time is given to deliver the data, that within that time that data must be delivered. And jitter. Jitter is nothing but it is a variation in the delay of received packets. The variation in the delay of received packets. If the sender is sending a message, if the receiver is yet to receive the message, and if the receiver receives the message in delay, and what is the variation in delay, that is called jitter. So next topic is remote procedure call, so which is RPC. A remote procedure call is an inter-process communication technique that is used for client-server based applications. So this RPC is used for client-server based applications. Wherever client-server communication is there, this RPC is used. It is also known as a subroutine call or a function call, like in our C programming. What is the process going on in RPC? Actually, here in RPC, a client has a request message that the RPC translates and sends to the receiver. The client contains the request message which is to be sent to the server. This request may be a procedure or a function call to the remote server. So it may be a procedure or function call, just function call. When the server receives the request, now coming to server side, when the server receives the request, it sends the required response back to the client accordingly. The client is blocked while the server is processing the call. So when particular function call is received by the server, the client is blocked. since it is processing the call, since the server is processing the call, and only resumed execution after the server is finished. So after the server finished the function call execution, then only the blocked client will be resumed. There is one concept in RPC which is called stub. We need to understand what is stub in RPC, that is remote procedure call. It is actually a piece of code, programming code that converts parameters passed between client and server during remote procedure call. So it is a piece of code which converts parameters passed between client and server. So this stub is used to convert the parameters passed between the client and server during RPC. So it performs the conversion of the parameters. So a remote procedure call looks like a local function call for the remote computer. The sequence of events in a remote procedure call. First, the client stub is called by the client. The client stub, there will be a client stub in the client side and there will be a server stub in the server side. The client stub is called by the client. The client stub makes the system call to send the message to the server and puts the parameters in the message. The message is sent from the client to the server by the client's operating system. Now the client's operating system is used to send the message. The message is passed to the server stub by the server operating system. So the message from the client stub is passed to the server stub in the server operating system. The parameters are removed from the message by the server stub. What are the parameters passed from the client or removed from the message by the server stub? Then the server procedure is called by the server stub. The server stub itself calls the server procedure. This is the RPC diagram. In client side we have client functions, client stub and RPC runtime environment, which is the operating system. And coming to server side, we have server functions and server stub and RPC runtime environment, which is an operating system. So the client stub initiates the message call, procedure call, and it is given to the server stub. The server stub receives the message and it executes the message. What are the advantages of remote procedure call? It supports process oriented and thread oriented models. So process oriented and thread oriented models are supported by RPC. The internal message passing mechanism of RPC is hidden from the user. So the user no need to worry about the internal message passing system of the RPC. The effort to rewrite or redevelop the code is minimum in RPC. The effort to rewrite and redevelop the code in RPC is minimum. RPC calls can be used in distributed environment as well as the local environment. So the RPC can be used for distributed systems and also for local systems. Many of the protocol layers are omitted by RPC to improve performance. So many of the protocol, the rules are omitted by RPC in order to improve the performance of the system. What are the disadvantages of RPC? The RPC is a concept. It is not a standard. The RPC is a concept and it is not a standard. So that is why it is a disadvantage. There is no flexibility in RPC for hardware architecture. it is only interaction based. So there is no flexibility in RPC. The RPC is not flexible. So this is one disadvantage. There is an increase in cost because of remote procedure call. So the cost is increased when the RPC procedure is implemented in the system. So with this, today's class is completed. I am concluding today's class. Only two topics remaining in second unit that we will see in the next class. In the next class we will be completing the second unit. Thank you.